Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today we're taking a truly chilling journey right into the heart of the bluegrass state. Forget the bourbon and bluegrass just for a moment,
Wow.
okay? Because Kentucky has this surprising side that's really steeped in folklore and shadowed mysteries.
Indeed it does. We've gathered a fascinating stack of sources exploring haunted places in Kentucky.
Hmm.
Everything from, ancient hospitals to historic hotels,
Right.
and even a music venue that's rumored to be a portal to hell. These sources, they promise quite a spine-tingling adventure.
Yeah, sounds like it. Our mission today is really to unpack these tales, maybe uncover the most compelling evidence, some surprising facts, and help you understand why Kentucky is often considered one of the most haunted states in America. Get ready for some truly unsettling stories because we're about to explore the places where spirits, ghosts, and other figures of local legend apparently truly walk the earth. Okay, so let's unpack this first category. This one really highlights the human stories behind a lot of these hauntings. We're talking about places where just immense suffering and death occurred, and where that energy, that feeling, it seems to have left a real mark.
And that brings us straight to Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Louisville. You hear this one mentioned a lot. Frequently cited as one of the most haunted places, not just in Kentucky, but, the entire country. It opened back in 1910 to house tuberculosis victims. And get this, it saw over 63,000 deaths.
63,000, wow.
Yeah, the sheer scale of that suffering. It's often compared to a battlefield. It's just staggering.
And here's where it gets particularly eerie, I think. They had something called a death tunnel
Hmm.
to, discreetly remove the bodies.
Yeah.
It's a stark reminder of just how overwhelming the mortality rate must have been.
Exactly. And visitors,
Hmm.
paranormal investigators, they consistently report ghosts wandering. I mean, every inch of the building and the grounds, too.
So what kind of thing are they reporting? Is it just sightings or...
Oh, it's incredibly varied. You get reports of high EMF levels, that's electromagnetic field readings.
Right, investigators often link that to spirit energy. Yeah.
Precisely. Then there are phantom food smells from kitchens that haven't been used in decades, loud banging noises, orbs of light, cold spots, even seeing faces in reflections where there shouldn't be any.
Yeah.
And some people even report feeling spirits, like pushing them.
Whoa, pushing them.
Yeah, pushing curious explorers. And there are a couple of really notable spirits mentioned often. There's a pregnant nurse who apparently committed suicide in room 502,
Mm.
a very tragic story. And also a playful young boy named Timmy. He died around age 6 or 7, supposedly. Investigators often bring toys for him, hoping to interact.
That's quite a range of phenomena. Does this pattern, where intense emotion from a tragic past seems to manifest in so many different ways, does that hold true for other places like prisons or other hospitals in Kentucky?
Absolutely it does.
Yeah.
That narrative of trauma showing up as paranormal activity, it definitely extends to other institutions. Take Hazelwood Hospital in Maysville. It's abandoned now. History goes back to the 1800s. People there report hearing crying babies, seeing faces in the windows, shadow figures moving in the hallways. Very similar themes,
Crying babies. That's unsettling.
isn't it? And then there's Sauerkraut Cave in Louisville. Strange name, right?
Sauerkraut cave.
Yeah, it was actually used to age sauerkraut once.
Yeah.
But it's the only bit left of the old Lakeland Asylum, which was known for horrific early experiments on the mentally ill. The stories say patients tried to escape through this underground cave network. You can almost feel the desperation.
Lakeland Asylum.
Yeah, that sounds grim. And
Yeah.
prisons, too, you mentioned.
Right. The Kentucky State Penitentiary, they call it the Castle on Cumberland, built in 1886 for death row inmates. It even housed Kentucky's first electric chair, Old Sparky.
Code Sparky. Wow.
And the prison itself was built on land that used to be a flooded town. Plus, inmates died during the really grueling construction process. Just layers of dark history.
So actual accounts from people who worked there.
Yes, exactly. Stories from former workers, like a guy named Steve Asher. They include seeing inmates in, old school uniforms from decades ago, and hearing disembodied voices. It really suggests the harsh conditions, the lives lost. It all left an indelible mark. These places really seem to hold on to those echoes of suffering. Okay, so moving on from institutions, places almost defined by suffering, to places of hospitality. You'd think hotels, inns, maybe a bit less spectral, but apparently not. Kentucky's grand hotels and historic homes also have their, share of spectral residents.
Oh, definitely. The Seelbach Hilton in Louisville, for instance. It's this luxurious hotel built way back in 1903 and is really well known for its Lady in Blue.
The Lady in Blue, I think I've heard of her.
You probably have. She's believed to be a woman named Patricia Wilson. The story is she tragically died in the hotel back in 1936, possibly suicide, maybe right after her husband died in a car accident on his way to meet her there. Just awful.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
So what do guests report? Just seeing her.
Sightings, yes, but other things too. Guests report TVs just turning on by themselves around 4 a.m.,
4 a.m. That's specific.
isn't it? Also phantom footsteps and the distinct scent of lilac perfume, especially apparently on the 8th floor and the mezzanine level.
Lilac perfume.
Mm-hmm. And other guests have even seen, like, a man standing at a window who just vanishes, or a woman dressed in rags, reflected in a cafe mirror. It's quite varied.
It sounds it. Okay, what about older places, like really old inns?
Well, there's the Old Talbot Tavern in Bardstown. Dates all the way back to 1779.
Wow, 1779.
Yeah, Kentucky's oldest stagecoach stop. And it's famous for tales involving the outlaw Jesse James.
Jesse James, the outlaw.
The very one. Legend says he shot bullet holes in a painting on the wall there, which you can still see, apparently. And his ghost is said to still visit.
Just Jesse James? Or are there other stories?
Oh, plenty more. Beyond Jesse James, guests have reported being shaken awake by housekeepers who then just disappear.
Just shaken awake, seriously.
That's the report. Also hearing strange sounds, seeing furniture move or even, like, jump on its own. And there are also consistent reports of a mysterious female spirit and shadow figures, too. So yeah, not just one famous ghost, but a whole range of activity.
That seems to be a theme, doesn't it? Multiple phenomena, not just one single ghost story.
It really does. And that variety is something we see elsewhere, too. Take Liberty Hall in Frankfurt. It's an 18th century home, built 1796. It's said to be haunted by at least 3 distinct spirits. The most famous one there is the Gray Lady Ghost, believed to be Margareta Varick, who died on the property back in 1817.
The Gray Lady. So sightings of her.
Yes, she's been seen in a gray gown. Her blurry form even supposedly appeared in a photograph taken back in 1965, right after a fire at the hall.
In a photo, that's intriguing.
Isn't it? And apparitions of her have been reported as recently as 2018.
Wow, and you said 3 spirits. What's the other story?
Well, there's also this really eerie tale of a Spanish opera singer. She apparently just disappeared from the gardens in 1805. People have reported seeing her ghost looking utterly terror-stricken, shrieking silently, and then just vanishing without a trace.
Shrieking silently. That sends a chill down your spine. Okay, what about places people can actually stay? Like B&Bs.
Yes, Maple Hill Manor in Springfield is a good example. It's a beautiful bed and breakfast now, but it was built by slaves back in 1851. Guests there report all sorts of things. Footsteps, knocks on doors, cold spots, phantom perfume scents, different scents this time, and even having unusually vivid or strange dreams.
Perfume again. Interesting.
It is. It's said to be haunted by the original owners and also by soldiers from the Battle of Perryville, which happened nearby. And adding to the tragedy, 4 of the owner's children actually died on the premises, one apparently from a fall down the main stairwell.
Oh, that's heartbreaking. And Octagon Hall in Franklin, you mentioned that one earlier.
Right, Octagon Hall. It's a distinctive 8-sided house, a Civil War-era plantation. That one's said to be haunted mainly by soldiers. Reports of ghostly footsteps, disembodied voices, pretty typical phenomena for battlefield-related hauntings.
Any specific stories there?
Yes, there's a particularly sad one about a young girl who supposedly burned to death in the basement kitchen way back in the 1860s. And during one ghost tour there, apparently, a really heavy fireplace kettle started swinging all by itself.
Swinging on its own. Yikes.
Mm-hmm. Then there's Whitehall in Richmond. This was formerly the home of Cassius Marcellus Clay, the abolitionist, not the boxer.
Ah, right. Important distinction.
Very. It's said to be haunted by Alec, who was a former slave there. He's described almost as a supernatural protector of the house. Accounts describe candle lights moving on their own, footsteps, mysterious noises, and sometimes the faint sounds of piano and violin music.
A protector.
Yeah.
That's a different kind of haunting narrative. It's really clear that historical significance, these big events, these lives look in these grand buildings, often seem intertwined with spectral activity.
Absolutely.
And it seems like beyond the really famous stories, there are these lingering presences in lots of other places too, right? Like you mentioned the Campbell House.
Exactly. The Campbell House in Lexington is reportedly haunted by Grace, a former maid. She's apparently still seen tidying up, dressed in 1920s clothes.
Still on the job.
Seems like it. And at the Brown Hotel in Louisville, another grand old place, the spirit of a young woman who met a tragic end there reportedly lingers, particularly on the 8th floor. sometimes appearing to guests.
The eighth floor again. What about other historic properties?
Well, there's Wickland Mansion in Bardstown, known as the home of the three governors. Reports there include doors opening by themselves, music playing when no one's there, and it's often attributed to three former employees: a cook, a groundskeeper, and a carpenter.
So the staff are sticking around too.
Apparently. And speaking of Bardstown, the Jailer's Inn Bed and Breakfast. It's a former jail, Kentucky's oldest operating jail complex, actually, until it became an inn.
From jail to B&B, quite a shift.
Isn't it? And it's said to still host lingering prisoner spirits. People report hearing disembodied footsteps and sometimes crying.
That makes sense, given the history. And Lexington again, the Gratz Park Inn.
Yes, the Gratz Park Inn seems quite busy, paranormally speaking. Apparitions reported there range from men in period clothing, a lady in white, but also like ghostly drunk partygoers, a young girl playing, and even an elderly man who apparently likes to turn TVs on and off.
Fiddling with the TV, that's almost quaint compared to some of the others. Okay, so from grand hotels and historic homes, let's move to more public spaces. Places where the specter of the past might play to, well, a quieter audience. Like theaters, cemeteries, old military grounds. These places, designed for gathering or remembrance, they seem to hold their own secrets too.
Definitely. The Louisville Palace Theater is a great example. It was originally Lowe's Theater, opened in 1928. People there report seeing a faceless woman, apparently from the 40s, a man dressed in clothing from the 30s, and hearing a child giggling when no child is around.
A faceless woman, that's deeply unsettling.
It really is. And there's also the ghost of a projectionist, a worker who apparently had a heart attack right there on the job. They say he never clocked out.
Never clocked out, wow.
And people have even heard phantom applause after shows when the theater is empty.
Applause from an empty theater. Creepy. And it's not just the Palace, right? Other theaters too.
Oh, yes. The Historic State Theater down in Elizabethtown. The story there is that a former vaudeville performer's ghost haunts the building. Still trying to get a laugh, maybe.
Yeah. Always worked in the room.
You know.
And in Lexington.
The Kentucky Theater in Lexington is said to be haunted by its former manager, a man named Harold Thornton. Perhaps he's still overseeing operations from the other side.
Keeping an eye on things. Okay, let's talk cemeteries. Always prime spots in folklore.
Indeed. Cave Hill Cemetery in Louisville is a major one. Established way back in 1848, it's this huge Victorian-era cemetery. It holds the graves of both Union and Confederate soldiers from the Civil War, among many others.
So lots of history, lots of potential for lingering spirits.
Exactly. Visitors report strange lights, sudden cold winds even on still nights, and hearing whispers when they're alone. There are even darker legends, like one about a woman accidentally buried alive, whose screams can supposedly still be heard sometimes.
Oh, that's horrifying. Buried alive. And some cemeteries have even darker reputations, you mentioned, like the gates of hell.
That's right. Grandview Cemetery, there are actually a couple with similar stories, it seems. The one often called the Gates of Hell is near Elizabethtown. It's a very old family graveyard, maybe 300 years old. Reports there include glowing green orbs, shadow figures, disembodied screams, and even cars mysteriously having trouble starting nearby.
Trouble starting, like the spirits are interfering.
That's the implication in the stories, yeah. Then, in Harlan County, there's another Grandview Cemetery with a different sad tale. A young girl who died in a car accident nearby is said to wander the grounds. People report hearing her laughter or finding her footprints in fresh snow when no one else has been there.
Oh, footprints in the snow. That's a powerful image. Any others?
Lick Creek Cemetery in Dawson Springs also comes up. Reports there are a bit more vague, but include seeing people sort of fade in and out of view, glowing objects, and the feeling of being watched, sometimes seeing pairs of eyes in the dark.
Just eyes. Okay, shifting from resting places to places of intense activity and, again, death. Military sites.
Yes, Camp Zachary Taylor in Louisville. It's actually a residential neighborhood now.
A neighborhood, really?
Yeah, but during World War I, it was a massive military training camp. And during the 1918 influenza pandemic and other outbreaks, it was hit hard. Hundreds of soldiers were dying daily. Reports from the time say bodies were often stacked high because they couldn't keep up. Just unimaginable loss.
That's hard to even picture. So what do residents report now?
Residents today report seeing soldiers sometimes marching in military formation, appearing and disappearing, and hearing the distant sound of cannons.
Marching through their neighborhood.
Right. And there's also this really poignant story of a woman often seen in a blue Victorian-style dress. She's said to wander the area with this, icy glare, searching for her lover who died there from the flu. The story goes she died of it herself just days later.
searching for her lost love. That's incredibly sad. Just a powerful image of that lingering sorrow. All right, let's dive into some really unique spots now. Often isolated, kind of off the beaten path, places where the environment itself, maybe the caves or the roads, seems to amplify the eerie feeling.
Mammoth Cave National Park is a perfect example. It's got layers of history. Around 4,000 years ago, Native Americans used parts of the cave system for burials.
4,000 years. Wow.
Yeah. Much later in the 19th century, it actually served as an experimental tuberculosis colony. Patients lived and died deep within the cave. Some were even placed on a specific ledge after death, known grimly as Corpse Rock.
Corpse Rock. Okay, so what do visitors experience down there?
A whole range of things. Unexplained lights, orbs, misty shapes floating in the dark passages, phantom coughing fits maybe echoing the TB patients. Also, people report feeling touches, sudden cold spots, hearing disembodied voices, and even small rocks occasionally being thrown by unseen forces.
Rocks thrown. That's more interactive.
It is. And there's a specific section called the blue hole within the cave system that's also frequently mentioned for paranormal activity.
Okay, from deep underground to a bridge.
Yeah.
The Pope Lick Trestle Bridge.
Ah, yes, the Pope Lick Monster. This one leans heavily into urban legend, but with real-world tragic consequences.
The Goat Man.
That's the one. The legend says this creature, half man, half goat, mimics the sound of children in distress to lure people out onto the active and very dangerous train trestle.
That's horrifying. And you said real consequences.
Yes. Tragically, several people have actually died on that bridge over the years, either falling or being hit by trains, often while investigating the legend. It's a dark story where folklore has had lethal outcomes. Keep an eye on the creek below, they say.
A truly dark legend playing out in real time. What about haunted roads? Those are classic too.
Sleepy Hollow Road and Prospect. The name alone is suggestive, isn't it?
Definitely has that vibe.
It's this winding, spooky road with some ominous lore attached. People report seeing a phantom hearse that appears out of nowhere, sometimes seeming to try and run drivers off the road.
A phantom hearse. Okay, that's terrifying.
And its Crybaby Bridge over Harrods Creek is infamous. People claim to hear the sounds of babies crying or mothers wailing. The stories often link this to really dark tales from the past about women supposedly tossing unwanted or sickly infants from the bridge. Just awful stories.
Crybaby bridges. Yeah, those legends pop up in a few places. Chilling stuff. And not a tunnel in Powell County. That sounds interesting.
It is. It's this 900-foot-long, very narrow one-lane tunnel carved right through the rock.
One lane. Must be spooky driving through there anyway.
Absolutely. And it's made primarily of limestone. Now, you mentioned earlier about limestone, right? Any connection here, according to the sources?
Yeah, I was wondering, did the sources say anything about limestone being like a conductor for spirits or energy?
That's a great question. While our specific sources here don't really delve into the, geological or metaphysical reasons why, it is a common thread in paranormal folklore. The theory some investigators have is that certain materials, limestone and quartz being common examples, might somehow hold or amplify residual energy, like they record past events.
Interesting theory. So what happens in not a tunnel?
Reports often mention seeing strange green lights floating inside the tunnel, and there are persistent local tales. One about a climber who fell to his death nearby, another about a worker who died in a dynamite explosion during the tunnel's construction. Their spirits are said to haunt that stretch of road.
Okay, now we have to talk about Bobby Mackey's Music World in Wilder.
Ah, yes, Bobby Mackey's.
This place gets called the most haunted bar in the country, sometimes even the world. That's a big claim. What's the story?
It has a seriously dark history. The building dates back to the 1850s, and it started life as a slaughterhouse.
A slaughterhouse. Okay, that's already a grim start.
It is. And apparently the waste from the slaughterhouse was just tossed into a well in the basement.
Oh, lovely.
Not pleasant, no.
Yeah.
Later, the building was allegedly used for secret satanic rituals. And then, perhaps most famously, it was connected to the horrific Pearl Bryan murder in 1896. She was a young woman who was murdered, actually beheaded nearby.
Beheaded? Oh, my God.
Yes, and one of her convicted murderers reportedly vowed from the gallows to haunt the site forever.
He vowed to haunt it. So is that what people experienced?
It's an incredibly intense location, reportedly. The sheer volume and intensity of reported activity are remarkable. People report sightings of Pearl herself, headless, naturally, lights turning on and off, jukeboxes playing music, even when they're unplugged.
Unplugged jukeboxes.
Yeah. And very high levels of poltergeist activity. That means Physical disturbances like objects moving on their own, sometimes being thrown. It's gotten so intense that there's apparently even a sign inside stating that the management isn't responsible for any paranormal attacks on patrons.
They have a disclaimer. For ghosts.
Apparently so. And some people genuinely believe that, well, in the basement,
Yeah.
the one used for slaughterhouse waste,
Yeah.
they believe it's actually a portal to hell.
Portal to hell in the basement of a Kentucky honky-tonk. Wow. Do any of the sources offer theories on why that specific well might be such a focal point beyond just its, gruesome history?
Yeah, that's a really crucial point. Our sources detail the history, the Pearl Bryan connection, the alleged rituals, and the intense phenomena reported today. But they don't delve too deeply into the metaphysical why of the well itself. It's more focused on the reported intensity of the activity centered there. It often seems that places with such concentrated trauma or such dark alleged activities, regardless of whether you call it a portal, just become these kinds of energetic anchors in these stories.
Makes sense, like a magnet for that kind of energy.
Exactly. But interestingly, amidst all the dark stuff, Bobby Mackey's is also said to be home to a more benign spirit, a dancer named Johanna.
Joanna the dancer.
Yeah, she supposedly worked there when it was a casino or club in a previous incarnation. People have apparently seen her apparition still performing on the stage sometimes.
So not all dark and scary, then.
Not entirely, no. A mix, like many haunted places.
Okay, we can't talk Kentucky without bourbon. Surely the distilleries are safe.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But apparently, even Kentucky's famous bourbon distilleries aren't immune to spectral residents. Take Buffalo Trace Distillery in Frankfurt. It's been operating in some form for over 250 years. That's a lot of history.
Definitely. So ghosts among the barrels.
That's what staff report. Footsteps when no one's there, disembodied voices, lights turning on and off by themselves, and even seeing apparitions moving among the aging barrels.
Huh. Maybe they're just waiting for a drink. And other distilleries, too.
We find similar stories elsewhere, yeah. The Jim Beam Distillery, out in Bardstown, or Claremont area, that one's said to be haunted by a former guard. The story goes he was a bit out of his mind and used to scream at the full moon. His ghost supposedly still does.
Screaming at the moon. Okay.
And the Stitzelweller Distillery in Louisville, another famous name, it supposedly has the ghost of a former employee who died on the job. He's said to still wander the grounds.
Died on the job. Another recurring theme. And you mentioned performance spaces earlier. There was one more.
Ah, right. The Rose Opera House in Cynthiana. That one apparently has several resident ghosts. Apparitions reported include a classic lady in white, but also an angry man, and two playful children, maybe still enjoying the shows after all this time.
Wow. We've really covered a lot of ground, haven't we? A true deep dive into Kentucky's haunted landscape. From those really tragic echoes in the sanatoriums and the military camps, to the chilling tales in grand hotels, historic homes, that creepy trestle bridge with the goat man, the Bluegrass State certainly seems to earn its reputation for being a hot spot of paranormal activity.
It absolutely does. And these stories, whether they're deeply steeped in documented history or more in the realm of local legend, they offer this fascinating glimpse into the human experience, don't they? Into fear, loss, and the just enduring power of place. They remind us that history isn't just something you read in books. Sometimes, maybe, it whispers in the hallways or appears as, a faint figure you catch just in the corner of your eye.
So, what does this all mean for you, our curious listener? Well, perhaps it's an invitation to maybe explore some of these locations yourself, if you're brave enough, or maybe just to consider the layers of history that exist just beneath the surface of everyday life, wherever you are. If places really can hold on to the energy of past events, past lives, past emotions, what might be lingering in your own surroundings that maybe you've just never noticed before, it certainly raises an important question, doesn't it? Food for thought.